Fair bit to chat about tonight. Strap in. Let's do this. Alright, hello and welcome to the Matchday Vlogs YouTube channel. As always, please remember to smash that like button and hit subscribe because it really does make a difference to the channel. We're here this evening to talk about so many things, but we're going to be having a look back at the Premier League result against, I say result loosely, against Newcastle United, the 4-1 loss. We'll also be having a look back at the League Cup result last night, and also having a look ahead to our opponents, of course, on Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff up at Anfield against the no longer title hopefuls Liverpool. And to top it off, we have a new manager, so we'll be talking about Nathan Jones and everything that we can expect in coming in with a new manager in the future. So there we go. As always, we are proudly sponsored by all the good people at matchdayvlogs.com, so go and check them out. Check something out. It's a great way to support the channel and get something in return. Plenty of threads to have a look at there. So all in all, a fair bit to chat about. But on top of all of that, we've got an extra guest. So
it's about time we got more talent on the show. We've got better talent on the show.
Exactly. Someone who's actually got some stats and some knowledge. So we're going to bring him in now. So round of applause, Mr. Rob himself.
Hello, fellas. Good evening.
Fabrizio Robano.
Big time.
Fuck no. God, no. Absolutely not.
So, as always, let us know where you are watching the show from. It's always fun to find out. If you come and watch us on YouTube, you can also get involved with the chat that's going on in the chat section, because YouTube finds a way to basically put all the comments from Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, so you can have a read through. So, if someone's responding to your question and you don't see it, that's why. So, but come and find us on YouTube and you can stick in all your comments and questions there. So, oh my goodness, where do we even begin? With it, this week, it's just been utterly ridiculous. I mean, I think we were all feeling pretty lost towards the end of Sunday, thinking, well, we think we all know what's coming. But should we have a quick chat about that Newcastle result? I think that's probably one of the best places to try and piece this week together. It was, from what we could make out, a woeful display, but I do find it amazing that a team could come to St Mary's, have 4 shots on target and score all 4 of them. I mean, I am utterly blown away by that. But let's have a guess. Rob, what were your thoughts on Sunday's game? Was it as bad as that, or were we looking a little bit better?
Well, the main positive for me is I was ill, so I couldn't go. So that's the big plus from my point of view. I think overall it was a culmination of the poorest performances we've had this season, and it all just occurred all within 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
You had defensive liabilities, attackers, Che not scoring golden chances. I mean, it was I couldn't sum it up. I just thought it was just a complete catastrophe, and it really did epitomize how we've been over the last 18 months. Definitely the worst of it anyway. I mean, personally, I think there's question marks really around not necessarily the goalkeeping, but the defending that allowed some of those goals to happen. For example, Maitland-Niles with Almiron. As soon as Almiron went in, I turned to my girlfriend and I said, "Yeah, we're 1-0 down." And then I don't know what he did to get it past Maitland-Niles, but end up in the back of the net. But I really felt for Bazunu that game, for being honest. The kid just needs time, and it sucks because it's his first season in the Premier League, anything above League One, and he's just got some of the most weird defensive shapes in front of him. For me, I just felt bad for him. But it was coming, and it was very obvious that the players knew that Ralph's time was up. I don't think any of them played for him at all on Sunday. I think I'll be correct in saying. But yeah, I think that there's just so many things that were bad about that performance. But it's like everything that's happened over the last couple of months, it just all into one 90-minute game. And yeah, apart from Pereira's goal, that was lovely. But I was quite annoyed that went in because I had Pope and Trippier in my fantasy team. So there you go.
Same, man. That's all I was thinking of at that point. I was like, wow, this
outrageous. I cannot believe that. That's really bad. But
mate, honestly, at that point, I was like, I got to chase Alfie House somehow. So we're in a little mini league and I want to beat him. So I had to do it.
I think that might be the first goal at St Mary's in a long time. Well, I don't think I even celebrated it. I watched back the vlog and I was like, yeah,
You didn't even stand.
I didn't even stand. I was like, yeah. So
Don't
it was a
blame
good.
me,
It was a good goal, but it's like even like the penalties last night. I was like, I'm not celebrating this.
Yeah, it did feel like that.
Just drew 1-1.
I did celebrate a little bit. It was more relief.
Yeah,
to be honest,
more bit of like goody saves of like
yeah,
McCarthy and penalties. Oh, we'll get to it.
We will get to it indeed. But also on Sunday's performance, I mean, it was weird because at the time I thought we were playing some decent football. That it had its moments, but all in all, it just was a bit lost, really, wasn't it, Jack?
I don't understand how we can be a team that, like, when you watch the game, just like there are really bad parts, but there is stuff that works. Like we did create chances, so we should have put something away, and it should have been a much different scoreline than what it was. Like they say, like the fact they scored 4 goals off of 4 shots, but it felt like a game where all of our chickens came home to roost. Where it's like we've been putting in these performances for the last 18 months, and we've been getting away with a couple of 1-0s here, saying, oh, well, we just finished our chances. We probably could have got a point out of that and this and that. And every time we've sort of said, when a good team comes here, they're going to put away those chances and make us look really stupid. And then it just happened to be Newcastle was that team that did it. Like,
did we make them look good? Did we?
We made them look so good. Like, I've spoken to a few Newcastle fans afterwards, and none of them were like, "Oh, we played you off the park." They were like, oh, you let us win that game, didn't you? Thanks for that. And that's just how when I came out of that game, it's just how I felt. I was like, we've just given them 4 goals, and Peru has just got frustrated and smashed one home. I just don't. It's just it was the end of the line. At the end, we've been off the tracks for ages, but this was just felt like the train carriage had finally smashed into the walls. It's just like, what else
the brakes failed on the Ralph Express, right?
Literally, we have come off the rails on the Ralph Express months ago, and now it was just finally that train coming to a halt, going, yeah, I'm done now.
Yeah, I just got to ask a couple of questions in the chat section. What was the crowd treble there yesterday? There was a little bit after the first goal. And I'll be honest with you, I put that in there just for clickbait, really, because you never get many views on Carabao Cup games. So hands up.
What was? Did anything actually happen then?
I think there was a little charge in the Itchen North.
Oh yeah,
I'm sorry, not in and a little bit in the Northern as well, like right in the corner. Yeah. But I don't think it's anything big.
I did see the Wednesday fans because there was no one Wednesday wise near the Northern when they scored. They did just run at them.
And then I noticed that when they did the penalties, I feel like the police, because the police were talking to the refs before the shootout, so I'm assuming they were like, we'll do this down the chapel end.
So like, one of the policemen I recognise, he's that Saints cop on Twitter.
Oh yeah.
So he was talking because we see him all the time at away days, and he says hi to us. It's really weird. And I think they pointed to do it down by the chapel where it's nice and quiet. So yeah.
But then it was almost like when the penalties were down, and then suddenly you saw the chapel stand moving and like trying to put people off. You're like, where's that every other minute of the season? You can all move down there. Then you can all shout.
Yeah, they were definitely trying to put them off there. But just finally, just to cap off on the Newcastle game, because I don't want to dwell on it too much. But there were a few comments on the YouTube video that I put up from Newcastle fans, because my goodness, they love to watch this channel. Maybe because they've had some decent results from us recently, so that's probably why.
Views, mate.
Yeah, indeed.
I'll take that.
But a lot of them were saying that actually we gave them the scoreline didn't suggest what it was. Like, it was an unfair image of what the game was actually like. But actually that we gave them the toughest game that they've had in a long time. So I don't know whether we draw any kind of positives from that.
Did we? God,
I don't know. I think we perhaps, really? I mean, whether it was a possession thing, they're used to having more possession. But, ultimately we had more shots than they did. We had more possession than they did. So maybe you're talking about that, really.
When you consider that's right, the stats of how much possession we had, and like they only had 4 shots on target. Yes, they all went in, but they only had 4 shots on target. So we did stifle them out of it. It was just one of the games where everything just went in. And maybe any other game, maybe if Almar runs off the pace a little bit, sometimes they're like, usually those shots get stopped. Those shots get stopped before they even get taken off. Like, say what you want about the centre backs, but they don't like blocking shots.
I'm looking at the stats now, and you're completely right. We had to more than double their shots overall. 56% possession to 44%, more passes, better pass. Yeah, that's nuts, isn't it? My God.
And that just that reeks of like why we all realised what it was at the end of that game. Like it had to be the end of it. Even if the plan was to wait until the World Cup, you're like, you can't now. You can't.
No. No, not at all, mate.
This isn't limping over the line. This is you're gone now.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall.
He knew it. He knew it, definitely.
So then moving on to, we will get to the manager stuff. I'm trying to find a way that we can do this in a sensible order, and there isn't really one.
Too much, man.
We're gonna do it by game, and then we'll go on to the manager stuff in a bit. But looking back to last night, it was again a very weird scenario with ourselves against Sheffield Wednesday. I myself thought that we were going to be seeing some of the B team being featured in the squads, giving them a bit of game time amongst some first team players as well. But it ended up being a bit of a desperate scenario with us going a goal down, which looked pretty similar to the goal we conceded against Newcastle, the Joe Willett goal. But all in all, it looks like Adam Armstrong was trying to get involved with assisting the Sheffield Wednesday player with a miscommunication with Kaletika, and all of a sudden they're in on goal. We've got 3 centre-backs running alongside a striker, and we're down 1-0. But, I mean, that was quite a shock to be getting down 1-0. I mean, did it come out of the blue against the run of play?
It's a funny one, that one, because with the 3 at the back, I felt like there was no communication. So anytime the ball went back like a direct ball, they were just all running scared. No one really knew who was sorting that out, and that just that is what that first goal was to me. But you're right, it was kind of the team I expected to see when I got there. I thought, right, we'll see some substitutions early with the 5 changes, and then as soon as was it who went off injured? Was it Salasu? Salasu sort of went off at halftime, didn't he? Yeah. And as soon as that happened, I was like, right, that's going to change these subs a little bit. And I don't know about you, but I just feel like any of the youngsters would have done 10 times the job that Theo Walcott did coming on.
Yeah.
Can I share with you an image? I'll share with you an image because this was, I can't remember who it was on Twitter. It might be whoever it was that shared this with me. I nabbed this picture, but have a look at this.
My God.
Do you know what I mean? When you look at that image, that freeze frame, we did not score from that. And that was before the first shot that Theo had on goal. And he did get a chance to follow it up with the defender being still aligned. It's pretty bad, isn't it?
Holy God.
Yeah. So, all in all,
he just didn't put anything behind it?
No, it was very casually rolled towards goal, but that says it all, really, doesn't it?
That is shocking, my word. They should pin that photo and just keep it in the changing room, because that sums up all of our problems. Just not enough power. Oh my God!
It should be that next to Shea Adams missing that header. And then Elianusi. Then the Elianusi miss on Sunday. Just have all of those put around you. Just be like, this, sort this out. Let's stop doing this, you morons. Like,
definitely.
It says so much that Peru is he our top goal scorer since he scored in March?
He's joint with Che on 2 goals this season.
Insanity. and he's third choice fullback. He's behind Kyle Walker-Peters in the left back role. How's that?
God, absolutely shocking. But we have progressed. Eventually, it was a penalty shootout that saw us go through. One I wasn't particularly confident for, but all in all, we did get through. But a lot of clubs went out last night. I mean, the entirety of London has gone out of the League Cup. There isn't a single club that Nottingham Forest beating Tottenham, Chelsea going out to Man City. No real shame in that. Crystal Palace going out to Newcastle. So it's kind of left the next round looking rather interesting with the draw to be played later. Later on this evening. Is anyone hopeful for anything? I mean, Jack, you mentioned Blackburn away.
Blackburn away, baby! Woohoo!
Oh wow! No thanks. Well, Burnley has an absolutely cracking away pub. Heads up, it's a cricket ground. It is top.
And that'd be a good game considering Teller wouldn't be able to play it.
Yeah, but they would beat us. They're very good. I personally, I just want something quite simple. Give me Gillingham, give me Burnley, Lincoln, Dons, one of them. Anything but Wolves away, and I'm a happy man.
Don't you all? You look at like those lineups of teams and you think, oh, we could get like say Gillingham, we could get Blackburn, but we're going to get City.
Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it?
You know that's what's going to happen. Like after 90 minutes of like drawing against Sheffield Wednesday and having to watch a penalty shootout, it's like right, City next. Like that would sum up what it is.
But as you mentioned last night, Jack, I mean, it is going to be played on the 19th of December, so there will be World Cup squad players who perhaps might not be back, might give us an upper hand against top 6 clubs that are still in the draw. Something to bear in mind, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I think so. But so what we'll probably be missing Bellecourt chat. I think he's the only one going, isn't he?
I think because Lavia didn't get in, did he?
And, I'm appalled at that. Absolutely appalled that those two boys missed out.
Yeah, it's outrageous that especially like Katalaka, especially because he's still yet to be dribble round, or was last night the first time?
Shall we have a look? I reckon he got dribble past last night because
I feel like
the Palace game, wasn't it?
That is such a disappointment. Of like, if that's the first time he's been dribble passes against,
I will get back to you on that.
But I mean, I'm sure we'll talk about it again in a bit. But yeah, like about players going away, but I think we're going to pretty much have a full squad staying behind, minus Bellecourt. Yeah. And I'll be honest, I think he'll be pretty fresh when he comes back because I don't see him getting a whole lot of game time.
No, absolutely. Coming here from Mark Richards, member of the channel. Adam Blackmore made a good point last night in that the cup game comes before the Boxing Day game. If we play a strong side, Jones will see what he is up against. Yeah, it's good point. Good kind of warm-up game just to see it get going, really. But
that's why I want a pretty poor side, because it would just let him just, like, if we come up against Gillingham, we've got a week's break until the next game. Jones, just go full strength and see what works. Like, genuinely, he has plenty of time to put his methods in, which I'm sure we're going to talk about. But just go full strength. Like, there's no. By the way, I checked. Saleta Sarr has not been dribbled past.
Hey,
which I'm absolutely shocked at, by the way, because But anyway, there you go. That's still intact.
But we are still yet to get a clean sheet at home, right?
Yes, that's pretty bad. My God,
that is pretty bad. Now I was kind of thinking last night might be the time to get it, but there we go.
You knew it wasn't going to be last night because Alex McCarthy was in goal. Like,
you weren't confident, were you? That was
no. As soon as it went to penalties, I was like, "Oh, penalties with Poppadom hands, great."
Oh yes, we love Alex McCarthy.
Do you remember that shot? So I can't remember who took it, but he just when he just threw it away.
Where he scooped it.
Oh, when it went near post?
Yeah,
that was stupid. That was idiot, man.
I feel like that's because he's like, wow, every time I save it, I just put it straight into the danger zone. So maybe this time I almost throw it into my own net. Something will happen.
Absolutely. So, should we put the previous games in the bag? Should we have a look ahead to this weekend's fixture? Because, oh my goodness, what a first day at work this is going to be for Nathan Jones. I mean, we've got plenty of stuff coming up for Liverpool stuff. I've just literally recorded a preview with Paddy Murphy, so we'll be able to hear the insights. So that will drop just after this show. I'm just finishing the editing of that. So
really, Paddy Murphy? Oh my life!
Exactly. So I started us a bit of beef, so we can get in the next round of the boxing matches. Jack, you're up. All right, you got that. You're a bit bigger than me, so you got that one. But it was great to hear his insights. So big in a good way, the strong way. Anyway. So we have Liverpool up next at Anfield. As I said, it's going to be quite a baptism of fire for poor Nathan Jones. How are we generally feeling about it? So I'm going to pose this question to Rob first, in terms of because Liverpool have had a very different start to the season. I think they've been lacking in midfield. They've had a few injuries. All in all, they're all but out of the title race completely. Now thinking about, can we get top 4? But what is your general mood, given that Leeds got a result there? They went away to Nottingham Forest, didn't get anything there. Is there an element of confidence within you?
Well, I'm staring down the barrel at a 10-hour round trip journey up to Liverpool on Saturday. Same. First of all, I can't wait for that. So are you boys going to be up there as well, is it? You
I'm
going up?
taking my dad with me, so
Yeah,
I'm
Mike,
hoping it
if
doesn't
anything,
piss
has a
him off.
worse trip than you because he has to go 10 hours in the car with Matchday Dads.
Oh,
So enjoy that.
Matchday dads. There you go. Yeah, I'm getting a train. Luckily, like so, drinks will be flowing. I won't even realize it's been 10 hours. But yeah, I mean, I think with this Liverpool team, you have to look at their previous results and especially their results at Anfield this season because obviously the Van Dijk record's been ruined. Thank you, Leeds. That was his first loss at home ever, which I just find incredible.
Mental.
But that team really does look like it's lost a lot of cohesion, and I know that's ironic coming from a Saints fan. I don't know. You look at Darwin Núñez, who overall I think has actually done quite well for himself. I think it was 5-6 goals in about 8-9 starts. It's not bad. But yeah, Salah's back in form somewhat, not fun. But the midfield I think is where we can really hurt them. I think Fabinho's been really off form. If they play Harvey Elliott, I think that's a major weak point in that side. And then you got the biggest weak point at the moment, in my opinion, is Trent. So personally, if I'm Nathan Jones, and let's be real, Anfield away is an absolute free hit for him. I thought Adozie impressed yesterday. One of the only players to impress.
Yeah,
Mate, just get him running at Trent. I'd love to see that. I'm going up there expecting a 4-0 loss. They'll click and hit us, but let's have some fun with it. I think Van Dijk is obviously Van Dijk. Even when he's at his worst, he's still one of the best centre-backs in the world. I think Robertson has been really off form as well. I don't think he's been that impressive going forward, let alone defensively anyway. So I do think the wide areas are going to be where we can actually hurt them. But a player that's going to be really important is going to be Lavia. I think he's going to be so crucial to us because I'll say it on here. Basically, I know a couple of people who know some people who work with the team during training and whatnot. And the setup so far has been a 4-5-1. And apparently Jones is kind of going more towards Sellés. He's kind of relying on Sellés to give him a little bit of information about the players and stuff because obviously what he saw last night wasn't very good. So it looks like it will probably be a 4-5-1. Rumor on the street is Prowsey doesn't play. I don't know how true that is. That's just a rumor. So just I don't know how true that is, but my God, yeah, I know, right? But personally, for me, I'd start him alongside Romeo. I think Romeo Lavia. I think that'd be really important. But Lavia's gonna be so crucial because we'll be sitting deep, obviously, if we play a 4-5-1. So when he picks the ball up in that pivot, I'd really like him to just spray a pass because he's so good at those progressive passes. There's no one else in our team who can do that. And when we're playing against a team like Liverpool, the reason why Leeds played so well is because of how quick they were on the transition. Yeah. So if we're actually going to hurt this Liverpool team down the flanks, we have to be so fast going forward. And that's one of the reasons why I'd start Adam Armstrong. I don't think he's that good, but he's going to hurt on the transition. So why not play him? I don't think I'd rather him over Mara at the moment. He doesn't look like he can really do anything. So yeah, I'm sure we'll get on the predicted lineups, but yeah, that's my kind of general consensus. I do think we'll go there and we will lose heavily, maybe a 3 or 4. But there's always a chance if you get a lucky early goal, there's always a chance that this Anfield crowd will turn on them. So
yeah,
why not? Why not go all out? It's a free hit for Jones at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Just go out there.
Yeah, I think the one thing that went for Leeds is the fact that they scored early and it kind of like shut up an already quite quiet Anfield and kind of got everyone's backs up really. So yeah, that's probably the way to do it. But yeah, absolutely. How about you, Jack? Confident?
Nah. But whatever. Let's talk about what would make us confident. Rob's right. I think Lavia is so important to this game because how just bad has the passing been, and that midfield has been so held up with Prowsey just sitting that bit deeper, trying to have to compensate for Diallo or not trusting Maitland-Niles yet. I just want it to be progressive again, and we're not going to get that unless Lavia's sat in that position making those sort of passes, and it just frees up other players that have had to been, the reason that, Prowsey's been so bad this season is because he's not had a partner. It's the same reason we all get down is when we don't have a partner. It's a sad time in life. So it's so that's all we're looking for is Prowsey to just be opened up again. To not start Prowsey would be insane. It would be an insane thing for him to do first game in charge. There's also a part of me that thinks, is he how many games has Prowsey played? He just does not stop playing. Is there a bit of fatigue in his game, and is that why he's been like he is as well? Is that a part of everything that we see here? Wouldn't be surprising. He should not be playing League Cup games this early in the round. Like, there's no need for it really.
There's
You
no
could have started
reason for it.
You could have started Maitland-Niles and Diallo last night, and it probably wouldn't have been much different than what we actually got. So we just need that. If we can just get that midfield rocking again, and string some passes together. And oh my god, how many times last night were we just screaming for passes to be taken earlier? Like,
Diallo, man,
Diallo just holding
he does it
up
every game.
Give the ball.
I say it
Give
constantly, and I'm sure you guys watched the Palace game. But like Maitland-Niles came on in that game and he was just spraying passes 2-touch, easy, like diag, whatever. Diallo just takes like the extra 2 or 3 touches. It's just like, bro, he's such a French league player. Like you can't do that in the Premier League or even against League One, because Barry Bannon had him on strings last night. So
you just don't have time.
I agree with you completely, Jack.
The amount of times that I saw like either Edozie or Gineppo like jack in the boxes, ready to spring through that line, and they're like, right, well, I'm 5 yards offside now because you've not made the pass. This is like, I need it. We need it now, and it's just
completely.
I remember that quote from last year, but was it Romeo just sort of like he like as soon as he got the ball, he knew where he's like, as soon as I get the ball, I know where Prowsey is, or I know where the attackers are going to be. So Yuki's going to make that pass, and oh my god, we miss it so much.
I'm gutted we sold him, to be fair. Absolutely, I thought it was the right thing to do, but
I think it's the right thing for him, but it was the wrong thing on our part not
to
get
a replacement for him.
Yeah,
we really did owe him that move, didn't we? So.
I think it's the threat of not getting first team football to perhaps see him on his way. But I mean, I think it's always going to be a tough test away at Anfield. But I mean, perhaps now's a good time to go on to our predicted 11. Should we go ahead to that? Jump straight into it.
Go on then.
Because I think it will help us understand perhaps how we're going to unpick this Liverpool side, who have not been scoring absolutely loads at home. But let's bring up the graphic here. Here we go.
I've taken them all out of my fantasy team. I don't think I've got a Liverpool player in there right now.
Every single one, have you?
Got rid of them.
What did that last week?
What did that when Pereira's on such form?
Yeah.
So true. Yeah.
I'm just going to remove the predicted 11 banner because it's right over Rob's face.
Oh, yeah.
So let's give it a... There he is.
There he is.
That's
excellent.
A bit better.
That's what
I
we
want
want
to suffocate you, mate. It's not fair to have you on there. Right. So let's go in. I think, is it fair to assume that we're going to see Bazunu back between the sticks? Can I just punch that one straight in?
I don't know.
Easy
Nathan
win,
Jones
mate.
and Alex McCarthy used to play together. They're bosom buddies.
Down at Yeovil. God,
Down at Yeovil.
What a standard.
The good times.
How we do I need to change the shirt colour? Because we're going to be playing on that kit, aren't we? In that kit?
Oh, I hope I think we'll play green kit, I think. But I'm not sure. Will we play green kit or blue? I'm not sure. Either one you could get away with. It's got to be blue. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not often we'll be wearing that blue kit this season. So
I like it. It's lovely.
Yeah, I still don't understand why people were hating on it. As soon as I saw it, I was like, "Yep, I back all of these, all the shirts this season."
When I said it looked weird, I was talking about on this screen here rather than the actual glorious kit that we do have.
It is so there we glorious kit, definitely.
So the centre back pairing, and by the way, let us know in the chat section. By the way, what your predicted 11 is. I can see Josh is already stuck in his, so be sure to stick in those. Just going to reply to the comment here. In terms of perhaps you're not going to World Cup, we will be getting onto the World Cup lineups later on. Plenty to chat about that. But we're too busy just thinking about Barry Bannon ruining Ibrahima Diallo. So the centre back pairing, are we going with ABK?
It's got to be Bella and Salisa, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd be very upset, very, very worried if it wasn't.
It's got to be better. The only reason why I think Bella wouldn't is because he's in the Germany squad, and I would feel so bad for him if we just played him. He gets injured and then he doesn't go World Cup. But I mean, you'd expect him to play, right? Yeah. But I could genuinely see Jones being like,
stick Kalesikar in there instead, and
don't want to hate. Yeah, I don't want this guy to hate me first week.
Listen, if Bednarak was going to get a game off for a Poland friendly, I'm pretty sure Belikovcic will probably.
Yeah, that's so true.
Hold on, new manager, new routine. What am I talking about? That won't happen this time.
No, definitely not.
So looking in the left back position, Peru. We're going with
Picks
Peru.
itself, mate. Definitely. Yeah,
Top.
easy pickings.
The goal machine. I do like how last night he was they got to that point where he was like, "Oh, so I'm the only one that's going to score again, am I? All right then." And he was just going for
Mate,
it.
Mark said it from Hampshire Live. He said a pro shot on target is easy money. There's good value in that. Good value.
Wow.
18 plus, obviously.
Gambleaware.org. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So in the right back position, kind of a bit up in the air with this one. I mean, do you see?
I'll go make
Do
the
we see-
Niles.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
Like it.
I think
I'm
so.
gonna argue with that.
The only reason why I'd say that confidently is because he came on last night in right back. So he's obviously either Sellers is getting him a bit more game time in there, so he gets used to it again after playing there for Roma. But I don't think there's any other better options. I don't want to see Elianusi put there or Lianco at this point.
We're not all for Lianco smashing Henderson about, so Prowsey goes.
Yeah,
Is that...
oh, mate, I'd love it. Maybe in the 85th minute, just bring him on, quick half.
Right, Lianco, you've got one job.
Yeah.
You take that Henderson knee, and I got 4 tickets to Peppa Pig World for you, my friend. Let's go.
Yeah, we'll take the fine. Yeah.
I have been weirdly impressed with Lianco and right back though. It's kind of like a very much an old school right back approach though. But defensively, I mean, I can't remember which game it was. It certainly wasn't the Palace game because that wasn't so great. But the one before that, I thought he did all right. But I'm not disagreeing with this. Let's make the Niles.
I mean, when you have those like flick up clearances that he did, the bicycle kick on the edge of the box, just the Palace game. Oh, it was. Yeah, if he had really put some effort into Zaha in that game, I think it would have been been a shining moment. But
he absolutely pocketed Martinelli. Absolutely, honestly, yeah, I love him, but
touched him once, never again. No, you can't blame him.
I just can't bring myself. I just think when Maitland-Niles is such a good fit. The only way I'd play Lianco in that position is if we did go 4-5-1. I'd have Lavia, Prowsey, and Maitland-Niles as a midfield 3, and I really like that. But if we're probably going to go 4-2-2 because it's going to be a lot more Sellers, isn't it? So yeah, Maitland-Niles right back. That's what I'm keen on.
Like it.
It's a vibe.
Let's start locking in these. Are we confident enough to say Lavia?
Yeah, we'll start definitely.
Let's go with that. Thank goodness. Right, it's not actually happened yet, but it's
fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed indeed.
We won't get anything.
I got 2 other people agreeing with me. There's a better chance of it being agreed with in the management of Southampton Football Club that way. Now number 7. Now ordinarily I just chuck James Ward-Prowse's name in there.
I would put him in. It was just complete rumours. I'd put Ward-Prowse in. I'd fully expect him to start the weekend. There's no reason why he shouldn't. And he's got a point to prove for Southgate because if he rocks up at that game and completely runs Anfield, right?
Yeah.
Then
gets a free kick, converts a pen. Southgate
has something to look at because if someone drops out, Phillips plays his first minute of football when his ACL tears, then Prowsey's a shoo-in. So yeah, I think Ward-Prowse would want to be picked.
Yeah,
definitely. I can't believe Southgate just doesn't think all the free kicks that Grealish gets, and then just have Prowse in the pitch as well. It's like
to be fair, they got Trippier.
Trippier though.
Yeah. That's the problem.
Prowse takes better free kicks than Trippier.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
and you now got James Maddison as well, who's scored some free kicks.
Yeah, but can you imagine like if you're a goalkeeper lining up a wall and you've got Trippier, Prowse, and Maddison all stood over a ball, and you're like, well, one of them's going to take
You'd
it.
be bricking it, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
If all three of them are stood there with their hands on their hips, you're like, oh no, where's this going?
Yeah, it's going indeed. Let's see if straight to the point here, Dan. Do not say Diallo. Okay, don't worry. You're in a safe place. I wasn't going to put that in there.
Shout out. Real one.
This now is a Prowse over any other free kick taker. To be fair, was a Newcastle game and he wasn't that good.
Yeah, he wasn't. He wasn't good. No one was good.
That's true.
To be fair, has there been a single set piece from us this season that you thought was a good set piece?
No, he hasn't actually had
corner.
a chance. He hasn't.
Even from
corners
corners.
are shocking. Corners are shocking, I think. But yeah, he hasn't actually had a good free kick chance yet, in fairness to him. So I think teams are just wised up and fair play because they should, because he's a beast. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's have a look over at the wings now. So where are we getting on the right side? Jack.
Right
what do you
side, I
reckon?
want Joe Rebo there.
Yeah, but
Rebo.
exactly right. That's the correct answer, Rob. Thank you for getting that right. Come on the show and just showing pure intelligence.
You're welcome. He said it. He said it in his interview. I don't know why he didn't
Yeah.
get played there more. He said it in his interview. I want to play on the right hand side behind the striker. And
It's been one of those things that I've been banging my head about. It just looked like Ralph didn't seem to know where he wanted to play Rebo, and there seem to be certain positions like he either works on the right or you're going to play him at that centre attacking mid, that number 10 role. Do one or the other. Don't just let him.
He was pish. Last night he was awful in that position. So
terrible on the
right hand side, boys, definitely.
Cool. So locked in on the right. I thought he had a decent chance with it. Well, he nearly scored with a header. Did he keep a save last night? It was that was quite something.
Yeah, it was good.
So are we going with a Dozy?
I'll put Dozy in there. Of course,
I want him to start.
He really was the best player last night, wasn't he? He was just running rings. The way he cuts in, feet.
He really is.
Feet.
I don't know what it is, man. It's his running style. He just looks. I don't know. There's
quick.
He's quick and it's his long strides. He almost. I don't know what player he reminds me of, but it is
the first two games we saw. He's what everybody thinks Gineppo is. He's what an outside.
Do
fan
not
thinks
get me
Gineppo
started.
does.
I will. Oh my god, dude, no. I will. Oh man, don't.
Anytime I talk to an opposition
him.
channel, they're like, "Oh, that Gineppo's got tricks," and he was like, "Well,
yeah, they love him.
He has Phil Neville stepovers, and that's about
shocking.
it."
He is, in my opinion, and I said this last year, and I stand by it. I genuinely think he is one of the worst players I've ever seen play for Southampton, because he has. Honestly, I do, and it's mainly from a football intelligence point of view. The guy has absolutely zero tactical IQ. He is he is a space cadet. He's an absolute space cadet. I mean, he's a lovely bloke, and he's a dad. So congratulations to him. But,
yes,
mate,
congratulations
to Gineppo, but mate, I don't want to see you play in my club anymore. I just don't. It just it gives me a hemorrhage every time I have to watch it.
Wait until Peru starts on the right side tomorrow, and Gineppo starts on the left.
Oh, my word!
Yummy.
Well, look, last night. It's the last thing I'm going to say on Musa for now. Last night when he played right back, he just let his man go so much, and he pushed up too far. It was chaos. Not for me. I don't think he's all that.
Defensive qualities. I mean, one thing he didn't do last night, he didn't give away a penalty. He got us a penalty, but he's normally the one to give away a penalty, and that didn't happen. So well done.
Yeah, well done to Musa for falling over in the box.
Yeah, but I honestly think that Musa Gineppo only works with that referee. That's the only partnership that works. That referee from last night and Gineppo is a good combination for us.
What a partnership it is. Right then,
excellent.
So who are we sticking up top? I mean, Shea wasn't.
This is hard.
It is. Shea wasn't on the bench last night, was he? Shea Adamson on the bench? If I'm
not sure.
No, I don't think he was.
I'm not sure. No. Oh well, he didn't come on. I don't know if he was on the bench or not, but it's whoever you put next to him. That's the problem.
Yeah. So definitely going Adams.
I think it
would be
Armstrong.
I think it'll be Adams and Armstrong. Yeah, I think it'll be the classic duo, the best friends.
You could play. So Adam Armstrong probably would start next to Che. But what something which I think could happen is we see Aribo move next to Adams, and then Stu Armstrong play like against Palace.
Yeah, that could be a good
in Aribo's position. But for me, I'd start Armour because he's just rapid, right? I want him against Robertson. He's really not that fast. So, but because I mean, Mara got some good minutes. So, did Armour? Did he start? I want to say he did, didn't he?
Yeah.
Did he start? Yeah, he started last night. Yeah.
Yeah,
right, so that doesn't help.
It's all those drinks tokens, Rob. You've forgotten,
mate. Honestly, that last night was good fun. It was actually great. It was actually sick. I would recommend Hospitality to anyone. It is great fun. But
there we go.
Yeah, Armour did start, didn't he? Yeah, he did. You're right.
Too busy hanging out with the manager, mate. I saw the picture of you and Nathan.
Oh, that was great, mate. So that was I'll tell you about that. So basically, where you're at, obviously, Mike, I'm sure you know you've been in the same spot. But there's zero segregation between the director's box and the padded seats. So about midway through the first half, 3 rows behind Rasmus and Martin and all that, there was a couple empty seats. So I thought, yeah, I'll give it a go. So I
you
went
weren't
down
lying
and
on Twitter when you said you got asked.
no,
Oh my goodness.
mate,
Oh
never
wow.
lied, man.
Sorry, I've interrupted your story.
Yeah, that's all right. No, that's all right, mate. So I went down and sat about 3 rows behind him, and I was really close to just like leaning over and trying to get a photo with. Because I've listened to like Rasmus's TED talks. I'm a big fan of him, and I wanted to get a photo with him. And the steward tapped me on the shoulder. I was there for about 2 minutes. He tapped me on the shoulder, and he was like, "You're not supposed to be here, mate." I said, I played the stupid card. I was like, "I'm lost. I don't know where I'm at. I've lost my mates. I got my ticket. I don't know where I'm sitting." Because he saw my lanyard and it said Saints Bar on it, so I wasn't allowed in. But yeah, I got very close to Henrik and Rasmus. But from where I was standing, I looked behind me, and 2 rows back was Jones and his entourage. So I found out where they were. And then during the game, I was up behind him, so I had a pretty good line of sight on Rasmus and Co and Jones. And to be honest with you, I spent more time watching them than I did at the game because I wanted to see what
that'd be way more.
were.
That would be way more interesting. Like I always think that.
Honestly,
like,
Wow.
yeah, really interesting. And so when we scored the pen, 0 celebration from the ownership, which is fair because it's Sheffield Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then Rasmus, when it was full time and was going to pens, Henrik Kraft just let out the biggest laugh to Rasmus. They both started laughing to each other, but Jones did not have any expression on his face to give anything, like absolutely, because he knew people were. He's already had photos taken of him. He knew. So at full time, I was like, right, I am gonna get a photo with this man because like you just got to, right? So I kind of got a bit lucky. So I positioned myself where last penalty probably get a shoe in, and luckily enough, the row leading up to him had emptied out. So I just darted up there, bolted up before like stewards could kind of get near you. And I was like, "You're right, Nathan. You're right, Nathan." I took a photo of him, and to be fair, he looked at the camera and smiled, so good for him. And I was like, "Good luck, mate."
And some of the other
mate.
ones I've seen some trash.
Yeah, mate. He looks moody, doesn't he? My word.
Oh yeah.
Did you smile like that? Was that smile?
So I wonder what that was about. I don't know, but yeah. So, and I was like,
Because Rob asked him for a photo. That's what that's about.
Mate, he was a really nice guy. A couple other guys got photos of him, and we wished him good luck because I'm sure I think he's just realised like, shit.
Got a job on it.
No, mate, I had a great time when exploring around St Mary's. It was brilliant. But yeah, I wish I had a couple more minutes extra in that director's box. Or I genuinely would have tried to get a photo with them. And Steele was there as well, and I really don't like Steele. Ever since the fans forum fellas, I've gone off Steele and Salmons and all that. That's a whole different thing, isn't it? But yeah, mate, great fun. Really enjoyed it.
Fantastic.
Great.
Good stuff. Right. Well, let's finish locking in this. Are we
of course.
good with this?
Oh yeah.
Is this
if I'm at Anfield tomorrow and I'm about 7 pints deep and I see that, I'm smiling.
You're very early.
Yeah. Oh yeah. On Saturday. No, happy days. Yeah. No, for sure. I'll definitely. I'll be happy with that.
I would love to see a live stream of you absolutely trashed outside Anfield the night before. Just like, I'm ready for it.
Maybe one day for charity.
With your ticket stapled to your chest going, I'm allowed in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was in the Southampton director's box just this Wednesday night. I should be allowed in here now.
Yeah.
Oh man, we've done a gamble aware one. We've got to do a drink aware one now, haven't we? Right. So that is our predicted 11 for Saturday's game. Let us know in the chat section if you completely disagree with that or agree with that. But I think that's
seeing a lot of Maras. Seeing an awful lot of Maras.
Yeah, there's a lot of shout for that.
I think a lot of people are asking way too much Amara already. Like he was meant to be what, 4th choice striker, 5th choice.
He was
like, why
never supposed to play.
Why is he not on the pitch scoring goals right now?
Yeah,
well, he was so he was signed more as a Che replacement than like more Che's role as a number 10 because obviously we all know we were going to go for a Gakpo, right, or a Dolberg or something. So I think Mara. I think people have been quite harsh on Mara. I don't put any pressure on him. If he plays, then great. I don't expect him to score or do anything because he's 19, like he's a kid.
Yeah.
He did well. He did well in League One, but so did Diallo. So there you go.
Great assist though in that Leeds game. I think that pass that he made up for Carl Peters was
and
stunning.
That you remember he scored when it was offside and it was that really like lovely tucked finish for
Leicester.
Henry,
Yeah,
so it's obviously there. It's just to come. It's just to come. Do you know, Mike? Do you remember when we were going into the Spurs ground and we bumped into his dad? Just sat outside Spurs, like on.
That
on
was
the
No
sweet.
way.
Yeah.
How would you
And,
know it was his dad? That's so. You saw a random French guy outside.
He
St.
literally
Mary's,
stopped
like-
us and he was just sort of like, "Are you Southampton fans?" I'd be like, "Yeah." He's like, "How do I get back to Southampton after the game?" I was like, "Just follow the people with this badge, mate. You'll get there." And he goes, "Oh yeah, my son's playing today, Sakamara." We were like,
It was the weirdest thing because you
That's
kind of looked
so
at.
weird.
We were kind of
Yeah.
double taking them, like, why would they allow him to travel by him? Why was he not being taken care of by the club? And the fact that I think he flew directly from France and was there straight from the airport.
he
so
was
perhaps
sat
it was
outside,
maybe-
like, you know, when you go to Spurs, they have like the players, like the car park entrance.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
sat there, and he was obviously. I'm sure he was meant to go around the other side. He was just sort of sat there on his little. He had an Eiffel Tower
Bless
suitcase,
him.
and that's what gave it away. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm 90% sure Maitland-Niles' brothers were at Spurs, I swear. Or his cousins. It was a bloke who looked exactly like him in that game.
Really.
So I walked out in the 75th minute like a bad fan. And and I remember seeing them, they looked pissed off. So yeah.
It was a hot day. It was.
I was
unbearably
so
hot.
Was it
Well, truly
Maitland-Niles? No, it would sorry, Lavia. I meant Lavia. Not
yeah.
because we didn't sign Maitland-Niles at that point, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Singatili with a good point. Yeah, Lavia, Dozy, Lario, Livra, Mental, all younger than 20. Yeah, we have the
Madness.
youngest squad in the Premier League, only narrowly behind Arsenal, though. So that's quite something to behold. I did have an image. There we go. That's an image that I forgot to upload for the show. There we go. I told you there'd be one.
There was one. There was
one. Then it got away. There we
Really
go.
program.
So Saints FC vlogs going for Bazunu, Peru, ABK, Salisu, Maitland-Niles, Lavia, Prassi, Aruba. It's pretty much spot on apart from Mara. We've gone with Adam Armstrong.
To be fair, either of them could start because they both got good minutes apparently.
yeah.
But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see.
Spurs was the worst. I imagine
Oh,
that
mate.
stadium.
I wore jeans that day and a jumper. And I was in the front row beating down. So I know that guy. Yeah, the sweat was bad. That's why I left.
Yeah, I got so burnt that day. I remember like coming out and just being like, "Oh, this was a mistake." And also because the sun was blaring behind us, every single picture of me made me look like I had the worst hairline in the world. And I was like, I hate the stadium, I hate everything about it, apart from the pie, apart from that Spurs pie.
Yeah, pies are quality at Spurs. To be fair.
Yeah. Beavertown
points.
Ales. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we don't. I don't do Beavertown because of those YouTube adverts. They annoyed me. I'll go parch that day.
Question: do we know what's happened to Larios? Is he injured?
He came off. Which game was it? Wait, came off in a game.
It was at Newcastle, wasn't it?
Recently,
Came off
yeah,
at
it was
Newcastle.
Newcastle. Yeah, it was. 'Cause, yeah. So I guess we'll find out tomorrow, 10 a.m., which is James's new his first ever thing. So his press conference. We'll find out tomorrow. I wouldn't risk him. I don't think he won't bring anything on Saturday. So
it does seem mad that there's so much that's happened this week that we completely forgot that it was only Sunday that he went off injured. But there we go.
it's been a wild week, eh?
Wild week indeed.
Wild
So
week.
to finalise the Liverpool preview part of the show before we move on to the managerial changes, because that's happened, let's go into the most audacious part of the show, which is our score predictions part, where we would be me, Jack, and Rob predicting our scores for Saturday's game.
Saturday, not Fridays, Saturdays.
Not Friday, not Sunday,
Not
but
Sunday.
Saturday, 3 p.m. at Anfield. As always, please remember to stick in your score predictions in the chat section, and I will go through all of them if we have time after we have given ours. Right. I kind of feel it's only right that I should let our guests go first, Jack. Is that the right thing to do here?
Come on, I don't know. It's so
Would you like
hard.
us to go first? Would you like us to go first?
I'll take it because, mate, whenever I
I'll
get
jump. That's fine.
I'll jump first. Yeah, mate. Whenever I'll be the lab rat. Whenever I get messages about score predictions or I have to do them on the space, that I always struggle with it because there's part of you that thinks, yeah, we're gonna get dicked here, like 3 or 4 nil, and then there's a part of you that's like, well, someone's got to win, you know. So it's I'll go. Oh God, it is football. All right, I'll go.
Do it, Rob. Do it.
I'll go. All right, I'll go 3-1 loss. We'll score first. There you go. That's what I reckon. We'll score first and then completely bottle it. So
Yeah,
that sounds about
yes, Positivity. If you want me to be realistic, that's what I'm going with. Why not? Definitely.
That's not what this channel's about, but fair play.
So there's your realistic one, but there are a glimmer of hope that you could see anything possibly happening other than a 3-1
I'll
loss.
say it very quietly, but a 1-0 shithouse would be amazing.
How many times have you watched that Shane Long goal this week?
How many times you watched this show
Too
when we
many.
said this? Yeah.
My God, so many times. Yeah, my word.
Do you know what? I've watched that clip
Every
so many
time.
times, and every time I'm surprised it's Josh Sims that gets the assist. Every time I'm like, oh yeah, fair play,
I
pal.
love that guy. Oh man, I love him. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
Amazing stuff. Right, Jack, over to you. The floor is yours.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for that 1-0 victory. You got to back the boys. Got to back the boys. There's a part of me that thinks,
GG.
New manager bounce. That's the thing in the league, right? And it's a new era. We're not going to lose anymore. All your problems are over, boys. Nathan Jones is here, and
Exactly. We fixed it. We fixed it.
Turns out Shea
God's
Adams
fixed.
can score. He
God's
was just
fixed.
doing it in
Done.
spite for the past 18 months. So that's
We found the switch and we pushed it. There we go.
Yeah.
Done.
there's a part of me
good.
that truly does believe that Monday morning Ruben Sellers absolutely tore them all apart, and Shea Adams has just been
Wow.
living that in his head.
Do you want to hear what happened? Because
So-
I did
tell me.
hear something quite funny. So when Ralph left, basically, the rumors on Twitter that he went round crying to everyone is true. That did happen.
Okay.
And then basically Sellers had one-on-one meetings with each of the players, and I won't name who it is, but he does sort out the kits. He said to me that they did look quite pissed off. There was a couple players who left that meeting with Sellers who I think had a couple home truths come. But he basically said that they had like a group. They always do like a group team meeting that also included all like the player staff, and they were like, "Well, you let Ralph down, you let the fans down, you let the club down. You need to buck it up, sort it out." Like Sellers really went into them, and a lot of the players wanted Sellers to become the first team manager because they all respect him really. That's why I don't think he'll leave, because they really respect him so much. But yeah, I think there was a couple home truths that came back. Which is one of the reasons why I quite like Jones, because I think he's kind of a no nonsense manager. So if that happened, which I think it did, he's normally pretty good with it. I think that's really good of Sellers to do, because they have over the last 18 months they've let us all down. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
been
there you
rough.
go.
It's been
I
rough
just do
indeed.
love that image. I imagine that image of sort of like a teary-eyed Ralph leaving, like one final look for Ruben Sellers to
Apparently,
slam the
yeah.
door and be like, right then,
right
he's gone. That emotional
like-
rush is gone. It's me now.
Little
apparently
Edam.
Lianco was in absolute bits when Ralph
okay.
left. Apparently Lianco was really upset. Bless him. So
Emotional guy.
oh well.
Top guy.
Oh well, we get paid enough. You're right.
It's
Oh,
all
well.
right. Couple of trip Pepper Pig World, a few horses, and it'd be right as rain.
Exactly. We have to do a meet up with Lianco at Peppa Pig World. That sounded weird. Don't know why I said that live on the
Well,
stream.
what is
sounds-
this with Peppa Pig World and Lianco? Have I missing
Mate,
something?
Like when he first got it, he was at Peppa Pig World probably like every other weekend. Like he was just posting a picture on his story. With just him at Peppa
Really?
Pig World. Yeah, man, he was there all the
God.
time. He
Unreal.
got kids. Got kids. He loves Park. He loves mine for gold, and all that stuff.
Oh, fair play to him.
Oh, that's
Yeah, why not?
He
Why
loves
not?
the stinger.
Right then, to finalise our score prediction part of the show,
Go on, yeah. Go on.
I am going to go with Jack on that. I'm going to say 1-0 to Southampton.
Sorry for being the negative Nelly.
No, I did put yours in there as well.
Oh, Jack,
So
yeah.
because you did confess that into the mic. I've got it recorded. So let's go through some of the chat section. Let's see if there's any positivity in here, because I'm scrolling. Here we
Red
go.
card for Lianco for trying to kill John. Great minds think alike. Excellent. I'd love to see that.
So let's go through them here. I've got Josh Blackmore, no relation to Adam, who he's touched once before. He's going for a 2-2 with Nunes and Jota, Aribo, and a Van Dijk own goal.
Oh, inject it.
Brendan White's going for a 3-3. What a goal fest that would be. YV's going for a 3-1 to Liverpool. It's with your first one there, Rob. Dean C's going for a 2-2. Stuart Clark's just saying, we all know we're losing. Just keep the score down, please. Yeah, let's keep the show family friendly.
GG.
Saints FC vlogs going for a 2-1. Saints. Salah gets their goal and James Ward-Prowse free kick, and then last minute Ainsley Maitland-Niles scores a belter of a goal. Wouldn't you love to see that? Shea hat trick after missing all the previous attempts. Intentional getting.
He's gonna cash it in. He's gonna cash in his XG.
He's been holding it back. There we go. Nathan Jones to be.
Oh, that would be great.
Yep.
That would be a great welcome to the league if he gets a yellow card.
I fancy Jones against Klopp. I'm not gonna lie. I seriously do. I reckon he's got fight.
Dominate him. Yeah, I think.
Do you want some?
Takes,
if you want some, I'll give it you. That's
Jones takes most of the league. I think. I don't think there's many people that can mess with him.
No, you're right.
This now's going for a 2-1 Saints. Chalet and Maitland-Niles. Easy win. Love it.
Easy.
It's one of those names, isn't it? So he's going for a 2-0 Saints. Was like every so often I get one of these. Is that? Yeah.
How dare you? That he belongs.
Bob thinks it's going to be 2-0 Saints. Sega City going 3-0 Marat hat trick. Wow. Leah is going for a 2-0 Liverpool. Member of the channel, Mark, thanks so much for the support. He's going for a 1-0 Saints win. He's with us there. He's on the bus. Nordo Betty's going for a 2-0. Dean C's giving his scorers Armour last minute breakaway. Bit Longy-esque. Oh, look at that. With a Josh Sims assist, perhaps. Jack Hussey's going for a 2-1 Southampton last minute limbs, scrappy Peru goal from a corner. Jones, passionate limbs. That's what my heart says, but my brain says we're getting battered. Here we go. Right. Oh, go on then. 3-2 Saints 90-minute winner. We love a 3-2.
I want that 90th minute winner just for Nathan Jones to knee slide all the way back to Southampton. Just one giant, back to Staplewood.
I'll tell you what, he is actually warming on me. Genuinely, he is.
Now it's signed in. Yeah, we'll talk about it in a second, but it's the tide's turn.
It's beautiful. Can you imagine? I mean, what feeling that would be to go into the World Cup and all that. Basically, everyone's going to come away from the game thinking, we're winning the league. Yeah. Right. Bradley's going for a 2-0 Liverpool. Red card for Lianco. There we go. James Ward-Prowse on the plane. There we go. Fat Saints fans going for a 3-1 Lianco brace around Peru, 45 yards.
I would have put a quid on that, lad. I would have put a quid on it.
It's worth a tenner, that. Come on. Lianco goes killer in the middle. Another film. 6 million plus tears. Delga's going for. I was going to say 3-2 Liverpool, but Jack's filled me with confidence. 2-1 us. There we go, Jack.
I love filling people with confidence.
James 3957 is going for a 1-1. Let me see. Vade is going for a 2-0 win. I have a feeling Macus will start. Controversial. And make some world class saves.
World class and Macca in the same sentence. There's nothing like that.
It's a stretch. James Ward-Prowse at the double to prove Southgate wrong.
I wish.
Wow.
GG.
I mean, I would love to see a James Ward-Prowse like in spite performance. I'm like, all right, not taking me, are you? All right, let's sit down.
Mate, I just want him to turn into an absolute dog.
I'd like him to be able to pass a ball. We'll start there, and we'll go forward.
And then we'll work our way up, mate. Yeah.
So let's have a look at probably the most broadest topic that I think most Saints fans have been talking about, and that's the fact of the managerial change at Southampton with Ralph Hasenhüttl finally getting the sack on Monday morning after losing to Newcastle United, with the rumours pretty much spinning up almost immediately, weren't they, in terms of like with Nathan Jones coming in. There were a few other names put about there, but we've also got a comment from a Luton fan I just see here saying, I'm a Luton fan and you've got a good, very passionate manager. So of course we are talking about the incoming of Mr. Nathan Jones. We are all firmly Jones in on the channel. But in terms of this, Rob, was this a surprise? I mean, in general, yes, it was generally a surprise.
If you say it's not a surprise, you're just a liar. No one saw this coming.
But in terms of also the thought process of like, oh, okay, and then how long did it take you to go, Oh, actually, I get it. Or are you still not there yet?
Oh, mate. Now, all right, let's talk about it when Ralph was in the job, right? So when Ralph was in
hold
the
on,
job,
Mike. Let's sit back. Let's sit back and enjoy this.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
This is what you're here, Ralph. Go for it.
So when Ralph was in the job, so throughout Ralph's tenure, I was famously Ralph in, like notorious 9-0, don't care, keep him, he's good. It's the players, keep him. And then Brentford away happened, and I was stood there 3-0 down, thinking, what the hell? Maybe it's not Ralph. Maybe it's not the players. Maybe it's Ralph. And I think over the last 18 months, 12 months, 6 months, whatever time frame you look at, results haven't been good enough. We predicted 21 points under Ralph this season if he stayed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not happening, is it? And we haven't played like I mean, we've got a great run of fixtures coming up. Don't get me wrong, but the teams we have played, we should have won most of those games. Looking at Wolves, looking at Palace, those types. So I think for me, it was obviously right that he goes. And Jack, you alluded to it earlier, the original plan was for him to leave at World Cup. But I think, the game against Newcastle, that just kicked it all off, didn't it? It was just like, you can't stay. It would have been an insult to the fans that go. It would have been an insult to the fans that tune in. Anyone that really supports Saints and cares about the club, it would have been an absolute insult that man stayed in any longer than Newcastle. So definitely right to get rid of him. Now, in terms of his replacement, when he was still in charge, I was thinking Gallardo, I was thinking Lopetegui, I was thinking Yassel, Bo Svensson, Knutson. I was thinking, we'll get some nice European manager who has done decently well at maybe a smaller club. Yassel, for example, really good at Salzburg. I think he would have been perfect. And then Nathan Jones was favourite on the bookies, and you kind of look at it and you think, well, first of all, who the hell is that? And then you think, well, okay, what are we kind of seeing here? And I think it was, from my perspective anyway, seeing clubs around us, i.e. Villa, Wolves, they went and got Emery and Lopetegui, who have both won the Europa League in recent times, right? Both managed notorious European clubs. And we're going for a man who managed Luton. Managed Luton Town last year, and you kind of look at that, and I'm kind of sat there at work, and I'm just kind of seeing these things rolling about Nathan Jones, and I'm thinking, wow, this is a bit shit. Like, you just feel a bit underwhelmed, don't you? Like, I genuinely I still feel underwhelmed, but after today, I've read so much information about. I've tried to just indulge myself in Nathan Jones content over the last 24 hours. Yeah, looking at what he'd done at Luton under a shoestring budget, taking him from League Two to the playoffs championship. I mean, that's pretty good, right? I think we can all agree that that's a pretty mean feat. That's like a football manager feat. That's quality.
Atkins-esque.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean, he only lasted 14 games in the Premier League, but there you go. But I think overall, I do now understand. By the way, it's fully Rasmus's decision.
Yeah.
I'm good friends with one of Martin Semmons's family members. The day that Jones was sorted, Semmons did have a funeral to go to, but he went to the funeral and he saw Martin. And I know he's at a funeral, but he spoke to him at the wake. And Martin did seem very incredibly dejected when he was talking about the situation. So I don't think that it was entirely his idea.
Okay.
Jones is good friends with Crocker, who has always wanted more control, really, I think, recently. But I think it was fully Rasmus. If you look at Rasmus, he bought in Thomas Frank, he bought in Dean Smith, and they've both been relatively successful. Frank obviously being the successor there. I mean, if you look at the statistics of what Jones plays, he plays football that works, but in a very unorthodox fashion, which stinks of Sport Republic. So I don't think it will be pretty, but I do think that we might be in for a bit of chaos ball. And if you look at the way he plays, there was a really good graph that was going around the timeline. I wish I had it at the moment. But basically, it showed defensive actions and attacking actions per 90 on Luton Town this season and last season. And they had like no possession. And it was all like winning. It was basically winning balls in the final third and running with it. And so lumping it up to a big striker, then winning the knockdown, second balls, that type of thing. So I think it would be interesting to watch that happen in the Premier League. I think with Jones, it's going to go one or two ways. either he's going to be incredibly successful with us, or he's just going to be sacked after like 3 months. I don't think there's any way it goes different. I think if we go down, we have a manager who's used to the Championship. Will I sack him if we went down? Yeah, I think you kind of got to. You, but I'm not writing him off by any means. I am firmly Jones in. I really loved his interviews today. I'm sure you boys have watched it, and everyone here. I thought he came across brilliantly. He speaks really, really well. I really like the way that he knows. You can just tell by looking at him that he's going to be aggressive towards these players. Yeah. He says he wants to create an atmosphere where you just hunger and determination, and that's what he did at Luton. That's why they were doing so well. It's because they would literally run through brick walls for him. And I don't think any of those players, maybe Barlianco, would have ran through a brick wall for Ralph. No way. So I think it will be a really tough gig for him to kind of unite that dressing room. And it will take time, which is why I'm quite happy we have a World Cup break and we're not going into the festive period with a new manager, because that would have been disastrous, I think. But yeah, overall, still underwhelmed, because I think there's in my opinion better options out there, or maybe more what I want to see, nicer football, should I say. But I can see why they made why they brought him in, and I think he speaks well. I think he's obviously cares about the club. You can tell he cares about Luton so much. And I hope he has the same passion for us. So yeah, that's kind of my overall thoughts, really. I mean, if you guys disagree, then by all means, far away. No, but I think that kind of steadies it for me.
Yeah. I mean, I think you do bring up some points that I think a lot of us are thinking in terms of like the underwhelmment. But he does appear to be a manager that kind of perhaps builds up confidence in players, which I think is what we generally need. I mean, you mentioned Lianco, sort of would be the only player that will run through a wall for Ralph, but I think Lianco will run through a wall for me if I had a quick conversation. He's that sort of a bloke, isn't he? Just like, whatever, got it done. But I can kind of see where you're going with the whole kind of, perhaps a fan base that would have wanted a Lopetegui or whoever that's got a bit of, someone who's managed in the Europa League or done things elsewhere in Europe. But I think we need to just be realistic of where we are and who we have to work with in terms of the sort of players that come to us and require sort of nurturing and sort of development. And if he can do that, then more power to him. I understood also that he was also a first choice ahead of Thomas Frank for the Brentford job. Didn't I hear that
really? Oh, yeah. So does ring a bell, to be fair.
So he's someone that has been tracked by Rasmus for many a year. So I think in terms of, he's probably just been on the radar of Rasmus for since day dot. So it's probably why it moves so quickly in terms of we know we've got this guy at Luton here.
You make a good point, because it really did shock me, because obviously we had the entire December break, and we got a new manager in 4 days after we sacked it.
Yeah, so, exactly. It's why? Why would you move this quickly? If you didn't, because I think
we weren't publicly, sure. So publicly as well. We knew every step of this. Mate,
there's leaks. This club is like a chocolate teapot, mate. It's disgusting.
it's mental, and that's the thing. That's what. If the leaks, the leaks are to be true, and the fact, how much Ralph wasn't talking to play. It's obviously the team itself isn't gelled, and then they weren't playing for Ralph, and he is. And you look at Nathan Jones, you think he is the perfect manager for. On paper, looking like the perfect manager to just get the fundamentals back and try and get the the basics of football back in. He's going to drill that into them.
Mate, basics keep you up, man. Basics keep you up.
And that's 100%. Something that we just haven't had passing moves. So we've not been able to knock a ball back. There's been no formation to us in the past 18 months. And even when I watched them lose 2-0 to Stoke on Tuesday night, I was like, they're losing, but when they're passing a ball.
They didn't look that bad, to be honest with you.
No,
it wasn't fun, but
no, it wasn't a good game.
I reckon they could have scored this.
Yeah, I reckon that would have gone in.
Yeah, that would have gone in. I reckon if that would have been.
So we can just get that down. Great. He seems he's a man. He's a coach. He seems like he's going to come in and just run.
Is a coach. Yeah.
He's going to run that training ground. When I just feel like in the past 18 months, Ralph seemed to get further and further away from that training ground, and then we started getting these reports that he's not spoke to players. It's like. Well, if you're not speaking to players, you're not on the training ground, are you? So,
no. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, to be fair, fellas, this is a bloke who Cameron Jerome has been doing decent under this guy. So
Mm.
I think if he can get a 36-year-old Cameron Jerome doing, I mean, he hasn't scored this season in 15 games, but if you can get him doing all right as he has, I mean, you got 8 goals and assists last year for Cameron Jerome in Championship, yeah, sure, whatever. But he's used to using players who are really under par and developing them and molding them. He had a really good quote from him. He said that he likes to play to his team's strengths and hide their weaknesses as much as possible, which, I mean, is common sense. Any manager should be trying to do that. But with us, we have so many flaws, and we do it. There are strengths out there, so I think he really needs to find those early, develop his training sessions, and I think I'm happy that he's brought his coaches over because I think that just helps with that entire process.
Yeah.
Especially if Sellers stays as well.
What happens
I
with
think
that though?
Yeah,
with
Well,
Sellers.
Ruben,
What do you see that progressing?
I reckon he goes into so with Ralph's his old new coaching staff, Alex Clapham and a couple of the guys. He had 3 assistant managers, didn't he, at that point? Yeah. So Nathan Jones has brought in 1. He's brought in 2. Sorry, Sellers can be that 1 to make 3. So maybe we will. But I think, to be honest with you, more people behind the scenes would help. So I think if the players respect Sellers, he can kind of, I mean, he hasn't been here even that long even, but he can kind of help Jones settle in, equate him to the players, give him his insights. He's seen him train every day for the last 6 months. So,
and also Sellers probably has more top flight knowledge than history than Nathan Jones does. So it's not. He almost gives that little prestige that we've all thought we were going to get, like a European manager of some sort. It's like, well, no, you're going to get Nathan Jones, but you are going to have Ruben Sellers, who has. Was it Valencia? Was that? Or was it?
It was at Copenhagen.
Copenhagen, but he's also
close.
Close, good enough. I'm sure there's a Spanish club in there. I'm sure there's a Spanish club in there.
Probably,
it's got France in between it. Yeah, it's fine.
Let me have a little look.
I'm sure there's enough, but I feel like that's a good combination. And also with, Ruben was brought in for a reason. Even with Ralph, the last season we didn't have any coaches. We had 4 goalkeepers.
Yeah.
Mate, spot on. Valencia under 18 manager. There you go.
Bam.
Ooh.
Knowledge.
That was in 2021. Yeah, his gig before, he was there for 6 months before he moved to Copenhagen.
Never ever question me. I'm never wrong. Just sometimes misinformed.
I stand corrected.
Knowledge. There you go.
I stand corrected. Said the man in the orthopedic shoe.
What was I saying? Right. So yeah, I feel like there was a game plan set in, so it's kind of a crossing over from the old into the new, and the old that's staying was probably the bit that we were all the most excited about. I was all very excited to see how Sellers was going to affect the Ralph team. But now I'm going to see how it's going to affect the Jones team. So, and last season I had that big complaint of, why have we got 3 goalkeepers coaching this team? The reason we can't score goals is we got a goalkeeper telling our strikers what to do.
Yeah.
And now we're on the other side of it, and we've got loads of coaches. I'm like, yeah, that's it. I'd rather have way too many. As long as there's a clear voice at top of what's instructing things, as long as there's a number one, as long as there's a manager that's running the shop, let's have as many coaches as possible to really get these guys going, because this team needs a lot of coaches to tell them what to do. They need their hands. They need their hands holding.
Yeah. And they definitely need a bit of stability with that. I mean, with that, I mean, I think all in all, we're quietly optimistic with the appointment of Nathan Jones.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
But looking back, I mean, this would be quite a question to answer, but would you say the tenure of Ralph Hasenhüttl, was it a success at Southampton overall over the 4 years?
I'd say so. If you told me in 2018-19 in December that we'd stay up for another 4 years, 100%, I would have said that's a success, because we were down. We were down that season, bad. So. Yeah, no, I think overall you have to look at it in moderation, that his job was to keep us in the league, and he did on a shoestring budget. He got us through the most vulnerable time we've had as a club in a long time since administration. Yeah. So, in my opinion, it was a success. Should we have built on it? Yes, and we should have done better than we did. But at the end of the day, we're still a Premier League club at this time. So,
yeah, which
for me, I'll thank him for that. I will.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that's absolutely fair. I mean, I would totally agree with those points, but it's always one of those things that a lot of Saints fans don't like to hear. You know, we should be aiming higher, but reality is we're up against a lot of clubs in this league that have money to get into Europe and are struggling to even do that. So, you know, the fact that we're still in and amongst it in the hardest league in the world, if is all to be believed by Martin Semmens. But yeah, I would say also a success in terms of that overall for the 4-year tenure. I would say. I mean, it's pretty much 4 years, isn't it? But Jack, you would say that?
I would, yeah. I like you saw it. I think all three of us here were Ralph in to the very end when you're like, "There's no
I
defending
was
this anymore."
holding on. For
But
dear
again,
life. Yeah.
like you said, Rob, when we went to that fan forum, if we left there and everything that they had told us had come true, they bought that striker, they really did sort out, you know, they sorted out the stadium and they did everything they said they were going to do, we would be in such a different place right now. But instead, it was almost like we spent an evening of them just sort of lying to us.
Mate, that fans forum was a complete sham. Honestly, they're lying through their teeth. The only one who I thought left that with a shred of integrity was Marianne Spacey Kell, who's brilliant. I love Marianne. She's mint. But even still, like, oh no, I don't see away fans in the home end. No, that doesn't happen. Yeah, bollocks, mate. You know, it's just I think, yeah, if we left that fans forum and everything happened and, you know, it was fine, then yeah, no problem. But at the end of the day, I said it at the time, fans should have went into that and asked more tough questions, not about James Ward-Prowse's testimonial. Because when you're given that chance, literally, you're literally sitting in front of the first team manager, the CEO, and the technical director who looks after our funds. You are sitting in front of probably the three most important people at the club at the moment, and you have the opportunity to ask them a question that they have to answer in front of cameras and other people. You got to take it. That's why I took my chance. And yeah, I might have bottled it on a couple of occasions, on you know, talking about the games or whatever. But you have to take those chances. Like, you can't be scared of them.
Yeah.
Like, they are is human beings. That's literally who they are. So if you're listening to this next year when Solent do it, because I spoke to Adam Blackmore, they're going to do it again. Get down to the fans forum and ask proper questions, because it's worth everyone's time. Then it really is, because they got off so light, in my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? You're right, because I went down there. Me and Mike went down there thinking this is going to be great, because when you read Twitter, like, I can't wait to ask this at the fan forum. I was like, it's going to be great tonight. Rubbish, they're going to ask some bouters, and we got there, and we were like, thank God we were sat behind you, because that was the only entertainment of the evening. And we were like, oh. And at the end of it, I did kind of feel like, maybe we should have. I should have had some questions in the back pocket, because I went there.
It's nervous though.
Do you know what? I think the only way to do it though is if you had a fan panel to actually orchestrate it, because you know what's going to happen. I mean, there's pretty much one or two really digging questions that kind of got us some information. Yeah. But the only really way to do that, I mean, first things first, it's kind of great that they actually do these fans forums, because I think there's 100%. Many clubs that don't even entertain the idea of them. Yeah, but to actually 100%. Get across the kind of questions that we need answers, we almost need, a group of 4 or 5 people that could basically put together some questions that actually they know the fan base really want to get answered, and they're actually going to dig into it. But
so there is something like that called the Saints Voice panel, but it's very selective. So I'm friends. So a woman who I do the spaces with, Yasmin on Twitter. She's great. Yeah. She's mint. So she's on there and she leads it. But it's not about player performance, or it's not about, oh, Ralph, you're crap, or it's not about why didn't we sign Gakpo or whoever. It's more about what kind of hot dogs we're going to serve next season, like that kind of thing. So there are stuff. Yeah, exactly. The things everyone wants to know. So there is infrastructure to do it, but there's no way they wanted to do it. Like, in my opinion, I would absolutely love to get on that panel and just like, I'm a very open and honest person. Like, I'm not scared of Ralph Hasenhüttl or Martin Semmens. I'm not, because at the end of the day, I care about this club more than literally anything. Yeah, and my girlfriend is.
Hey, listen, man. Martin Semmens goes to every game. He travels to every away game, man.
Oh my god. Yeah,
long enough they pay you for it.
He's in this with us.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. But
wait, you guys not being paid to do this? That's shocking. Yeah.
You guys didn't get your 400k this year, did you? Yeah. No. All right. But no, Mark, I completely agree. I wish they did, mate. But yeah, It is what it is. But yeah, if you
So
go to
that
fan forum, ask a question, do it. It's great.
Maybe that's the idea for the next year when that happens. We get on here again and we get those questions together and we go just as a unit and take up that front row.
You have to, mate. You have to do it. It's just like, yeah.
Just buy
And it's
all the
filmed.
tickets that they sell, and then there's
felt-
just 4 of us to show up.
Yeah.
No, just us.
I
Yeah,
actually,
Right.
yeah.
I felt bad for Adam Blackmore coming out of that because the amount of comments were like, "Oh, Adam was asking such shallow questions." Like, what do you expect Adam to do?
Adam's
PR,
lovely,
wasn't it?
mate. I
PR.
saw him last night. He's such a good guy. Like I've got to know him quite well. He is a fantastic guy, but yeah, he has to stay kind of impartial.
Yeah, yes, he's just
It
he
has
has to be
his
that
job,
guy.
isn't it? So,
And people, I remember seeing comments afterwards being like, "Oh, he's asking these lowball questions to Marianne." It's like, Marianne's done a great. She's the only one there doing something that's good, and
Marianne's
no one's here to
excellent.
ask.
Yeah.
And no one's
Celebrate
here to ask her a question. Like when I saw people getting angry that she was on the panel. I was like, "Why?" She's the
no,
best
she
thing.
should be.
And then as
There
soon
was
as I got
questions
that,
with the women's team, weren't there? There
yeah,
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
I
only thing that's
agree.
working right now.
Yeah, basically.
Mott is just one hell of a player.
Mott, yeah.
I love Mott.
She's class, to be fair.
Oh, look at this. It's 2-1 Villa. Oh, my goodness.
Is it really
Is
2-1
it?
Villa?
Oh my
Wow.
love, I haven't been keeping up.
Wow.
Oh, I hope so.
Fantastic.
What a thing to
yeah.
behold. So, all in all, I think that probably wraps up what we were saying about the managerial situation. Quietly optimistic. I think it's something that Ralph's tenure was a success overall. So there was a comment back here somewhere that someone's surprised that they haven't seen anything from Ralph in regards to a statement to the fans. But
Yes,
perhaps
fantastic point, to be fair. I was a bit surprised.
perhaps that maybe take a bit of time. But
He doesn't really have anything to do, like no platform to do that on, though, does he? He doesn't. It's not like he has a Twitter.
no, but he
But
sends
yeah.
something to the club,
maybe
though, can't he? But-
from the club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to do, but we certainly do wish him all the very best and thank for his tenure at our beloved football club. But I guess all in all, if we were to wrap up this episode with one final thing, it would probably be to do with the England squad announcement. Just to finally finish up with, this is the lineup that's basically been announced today. Any major shocks for either of you two that are in this? Rob?
Jack, do you want to go, mate?
Do you know what? There's nothing about this squad that shocks me. I'm like, yeah, that seems about right. That
Not
seems
even
about
Conor
what he was gonna-
Gallagher? Not even Conor Gallagher?
I mean, I guess Conor Gallagher. I mean, Wilson a little bit, but at the same time, I'm like, nah. I didn't expect Southgate to do the right thing. I didn't expect it. I didn't expect him to do what anybody wanted. He's going to do what he's going to do. So
Yeah,
know-
I think you're spot on, mate. If you look at it from top down, so keepers, he got spot on. Dean Henderson shouldn't be anywhere near the squad. He's not good enough. So yeah, keepers spot on. Defenders, why is Cody there? Why is Cody there? Why is Cody there? Why is Dyer there? I mean, Maguire was always going to go, but for me, Tomori, it just does have. Tomori is our best centre back. He's our best centre back, honestly. Midfielders, I saw Conor Gallagher and throw up in my mouth. I thought Henderson's just crap. I'm sorry, but I know Prowsey's been pretty poor this year. But
Yeah, Henderson. Yeah.
But if that role was
Henderson.
if that role was Ward-Prowse and Madison, you know,
our best
Madison's
midfield, our best midfield three would be Phillips, Rice. Oh, sorry, Rice, Bellingham, and Prowsey, in my opinion. But I think Phillips, I can see why he took him because he was so good at the Euros, but he's played 1 minute of Premier League football this season.
Yeah.
Why? Gallagher, not a chance. He's not been anywhere near good enough for Chelsea. And then moving forward, Madison, yeah, fair dues. Yeah, he gets it. But if I'm Ivan Toney, I'm absolutely fuming.
Yeah.
Because Tony's performed so much better than Wilson over a longer period of time now.
Yeah.
Good 12 months. Wilson plus he's injury prone, mate. We'll play him in one game, he gets injured, he's out for tournament. Tony is a fantastic player, and the thing is, he's a lot more similar to Harry Kane than Wilson is. Wilson's more of a number 9. Kane is a little bit more of a hybrid 10. So I would have preferred to see Tony in there over Wilson, but I can see why he's been taken. But yeah, I'd be gutted if I was Tony, Tomori, Prowsey. I feel so bad for Prowsey. Oh my god, I'm
It's
gutted.
definitely a tough break.
And what about you, Mike? What were you thinking?
Well, I mean, I understand why Prowsey's not in this lineup because if you look at the season so far, there's nothing really that's sort of made him sort of scream out to Gareth Southgate, apart from the fact that he can convert a penalty, and he's kind of one of those players that
exactly
can offer you that assurance. What I tend to think of though, looking at what's been chosen, I kind of get the idea that Southgate's got in his mind his 11. And then everyone else are players that he thinks he can bring on in the last 20 or the final 30 to make a difference. And so I guess that's kind of his mindset of what he's looking at. But I still look at it and I think Connor Cody's perhaps there for the banter in the dressing room or something.
He
like
must
that.
be absolutely hilarious. He must be so.
But they've said that the last 2 tournaments, haven't they? That he's just the leader when off the pitch, and he's the one that sort of keeps the enthusiasm going. He will retire and go straight into an England coaching setup. It'd do the Gary Neville and be there for a minute or two.
I think,
Can you imagine Bruno Lange though? He's thinking like, oh yeah, this player's not going to get my side. He can go out on loan to Everton. He's in the
$4.5 million option as well.
The England lineup. Okay, cool. That's gone rather well for him.
Yeah,
my goodness.
But I think, I for me, I know I'd much prefer our manager to be English for sure. But while Tuchel's available after this World Cup, get Southgate out. I'm sick of him. I'm so sick of seeing 5 at the back and then 3 defensive midfielders in front.
Yeah, it's just like.
But anyway,
to watch.
But there is that part of me that thinks you do kind of win tournament football by playing consistent, pragmatic football, and it's like,
don't concede.
It won't be nice. It won't be nice, but you can't argue with the results of it the past few times, except for when you need in a final where you need those moments and you need to set up like that.
Jack, you just alluded to my favourite quote in football, which is. Strikers win matches, but defenders win titles. That is the best quote in football because it's so true. And I think in international football, you do need to set up quite defensively.
If Michael Svensson could have stayed fit, we would be one of the global teams right now. We would be a Galactico. If Michael Svensson could have just stayed fit, we'd be a different club.
Title charge. That's what we've done.
I almost cried when he was there at halftime the other day. Like when they brought Niemi out, I was like, "Oh my god, Niemi!" And then when they brought Svensson out, I'm like, Svensson, and I've got Atkins at half time.
Yeah,
I love this football.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. Well, I think that pretty much concludes all we need to talk about tonight. But once again, thank you so much to Rob for joining. Jack, as always. Rob, you're heading up to Anfield on Saturday on the train.
Can't miss it, mate. Yeah, I'm buzzing. I'm really looking forward to it. Second time at Anfield, last season, but really looking forward to it. I think it'll be an interesting game. I just want to see Jones, mate. I want to see him go mental with Klopp.
Absolutely,
can't wait.
No, I myself will be there as well, so I'm sure it'll be good fun to meet up with some away fans up at Anfield. The final one before the World Cup breaks, so I'm sure we'll be thinking, what are we going to do without this for the next few weeks?
I can't wait personally.
But, so it should be a fun one.
A little mental health break.
But as always, as I mentioned earlier, there will be a preview that will be launching pretty much right after the show, maybe about an hour's time. The opposition preview with Paddy Murphy, so we'll be able to get his thoughts on Liverpool's season so far and what he honestly thinks of Southampton. And who his favourite poach of Southampton Football Club was. Who his favourite player was. I'll leave you guessing.
It's got to be Van Dijk, isn't it?
It wasn't actually. But,
it was
wow.
It's Nathaniel Klein.
Wow.
Jack, no spoilers, Jack. No spoilers.
Was it really?
I wasn't there. I wasn't there, but if it is Nathaniel Klein,
my old favourite player. There you go.
Fantastic stuff. Well, thank you so much for everyone for joining the show tonight. Thank you for the comments, the contributors. If you are watching this on replay, stick in your score prediction and thoughts on the game and all the managerial changes that we've had in the comments section below. It's always fun for you to read those after the show has finished. But as always, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. All right, see ya.